The next principle we have is the consistency. So with the consistency, we mean here that after a transaction, the database must move from one valid state to another valid state, following all the rules, constraints, and relationships. For example, here we have the accounts table, and in this accounts table, we have the balance column. For the balance column, we have added a constraint that the balance must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so this is a constraint. Now if we check the current accounts table, here we can see that for the Alice, the balance is 500. Okay, now if I try to update this, let's say if I try to deduct the balance like minus 1500, but the current balance is only 500. So let's check whether this will get updated. Okay, so we are getting an error because here we have added a constraint, and to make the database remain in a consistent state, it cannot reduce the balance less than 0. Okay, so this is the property or the principle of SQL database, where the database will remain consistent after the transaction. Okay, so the next principle or the property we have is the durability. So with the durability here, we mean that once a transaction is committed, its changes are permanent even if the system crashes right after. So this is ensured with the help of write ahead log. As we already discussed about write ahead log, where the system or the database keeps on logging the steps within a transaction. So only when the final commit is done, then only the final changes are returned to the database. Until then, the changes are only present in the logs. And here in between of the transaction, if the system or the database crash, then when the system or the database comes back, it will first check the logs, and if there are any transactions that are left in between, then it will just roll them back. So due to this, only once the changes are in the final state, that is commit state, then only the data will be returned to the disk. Otherwise, the data will not be written. So due to that, once the data is written, then the changes are the permanent, else it will be rolled back. So that's the property, that's the durability in the SQL databases.